Well, hello. You've tuned in today because you want to find out about the timing of the rapture. We looked at the rapture from 1 Thessalonians, speaking about the catching up of the church, where Jesus meets us in the air. Those who are dead are resurrected. Those who are alive are translated into their glorified bodies and are with him in the air. And you want to know when that's going to happen. I can tell you with confidence, it is going to happen on the 21st of May, 2011. No, obviously that didn't happen. But that is something that Harold Camping predicted. And he predicted other dates as well. When the dates that he predicted in 94 didn't come true, he tried again various times. A lady once told me that Jesus was coming back on the 29th of September. And then she was also offended that she was not invited to my son's birthday on the 29th of September. And she didn't see the irony in that at all. But anyway, Matthew chapter 24, verse 36 tells us that nobody knows the day or the hour that Jesus Christ will return. Nobody knows. You can never, ever set a date. So don't even try. But when will the rapture happen? We don't know. But we do know that it is imminent. That's all we know about it, that it is imminent, meaning that it could happen at any time. You know, the Old Testament and the New Testament predict what will happen in the last days. The problem with the phrase "in the last days" is we don't know when the last days end. It's kind of like when you give somebody directions and you say, my house is the last red house on the street. Well, how do you know which is the last red house? You see a red house and, well, that's the first one. You see another red house and that's the second one. But is that the last one? You have to drive for quite a long time before you realize, wait, that was the last one. And that's what the last days are like. We're constantly waiting for it to end, but we don't know exactly when it will end. Now, the timing of the rapture boils down to two main options. One is, does it happen before the tribulation or does it happen after the tribulation? So the tribulation is a time that is predicted in the book of Daniel as a 7-year period where God will judge the earth. It's also described in great detail in the book of Revelation. Now, the church is mentioned in the book of Revelation right up until the tribulation begins. From chapter 6 in Revelation through to the end of the book, the tribulation is described and the church is never mentioned again. In fact, in chapter 3 of Revelation, we are told that I will keep you from the hour of trial that is coming on the whole world, to try those who dwell on the earth. I will keep you from the hour of trial. This is a phrase that Paul uses in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 10. 1 Thessalonians 1:10, and to wait for his Son from heaven, who is raised from the dead, Jesus, who delivers us from the wrath to come. So the Greek word there, ek, from the wrath to come, is the same word that's used in Revelation, that we will be protected from the tribulation. And that word can mean emerging from, but as Paul uses it in 1 Thessalonians, the implication is that we will be taken away before that happens, that we will be lifted out of it. It goes perfectly with the rest of 1 Thessalonians, that rapture will happen, therefore, before God judges the earth. It also doesn't make sense that God would judge the church. God is happy with the church. God loves the church. He wants to protect the church. Christ died for the church. It makes far more sense that God would punish the earth and pour his wrath upon the earth after removing the church. So we don't know when Christ will come back and remove us, but we know that it is imminent. It is going to happen at any moment. That's why we always need to be on guard. We always need to be alert. It will come, the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night, without warning. And people look at the newspapers, they try to exegete the newspapers and try to determine whether or not these are the last days. Look, they are the last days. We just don't know when the last days end. We don't know when we've reached that last house. It's like all of history has been heading to this moment, and now it is like a golf ball that heads towards the hole, and then when it gets there, it spins around the rim for a moment. All of history has been heading towards the last days, but now that we're there, we're kind of waiting for it to end. It could happen today. It could happen 100 years from now. We don't know, and that's why we need to be alert. So tomorrow we will look at an application of the rapture, now that we know what it's going to be like, and that we also know we don't know when it's going to happen. What should we do with that information? Tune in tomorrow.